My son's lab result is out. So this is the lab result. So you guys have been with me all through the journey. So I said, okay, let me just take you guys along. So a few weeks ago that we were admitted in the hospital. When we got to the hospital, um he was on a temperature of 39.5. So they administered quinine and cipro. So on that very first fateful day, when they gave him that medication, the temperature dropped down to 38. 38. So they were like, okay, maybe he's responding. And then at 38, he convulsed. He had a convulsion at 38 degrees, which they resuscitated him back. So they kept on with that medication, and it wasn't working. That it never reduced to 37, it was just on 38. So they ran tests on him, and they still found out that his white blood cells is still high. So obviously there is still an infection, and then they told me that they need to upgrade, that the medication that they were giving him, he's not responding, that the bacteria is resisting that cipro. So they said okay, that they need to go very high because his white blood cell was very very high. It means in fact, and that was the cause of the convulsion. So they now said okay, that they will go to a very high antibiotics. So they switched immediately to Meronem. So when they gave him that mirror name, the very first day it dropped to 37. It dropped to 37. Okay, they were like, okay, fine, he's responding. Then that day it dropped to 37. The following day it went up again, and all through the night I'm always table sponging him. I will get warm water, I will table sponge. They're always giving him diclo, suppository, paracetamol to calm the temperature. It was just resisting. So if they give him a Mironem, maybe in next 3 or 4 hours it will calm down, and then after it rises up again. So they were like, okay, let's keep on giving him. And a bottle of Mironem is 35,000 naira. My baby drank 6 bottles of Mironem, six bottles of it. So he was taking it, it will come down, it will rise up. So at the point, and then they now said no, that they need to go and do culture. So and I was like, I got. They said, when I went to ask for the culture, they said the culture that they'll be doing is back tech culture, not the normal one that we know. It's a back tech. And then when I asked for the price, they said it's 65, I be 60 something thousand. And that time, my husband's phone was down because that was the period I had to come online, and one day I was soliciting for help. So my husband said no, that he don't really have that money for now, because that was after 1 week. Oh, we have spent money. So my husband was like, what will he do? So he now said, okay, let him go outside and see if he can run the test outside. Then I said, okay, that we can actually go outside. But me, I was still telling them, because this is not the first time he has fall ill. The previous time too, I knew that they changed. That I knew they gave him that Mironem and it resisted. They now moved to Emin Penim. Is it, yeah, Emin Penim something, yeah. So I think it was that is it Emim, maybe Emim Penim, something like that. So it was that medication there, and then they now added it with linzonoid. So I think that was the medication that calmed him down. It stopped. He got discharged. So doing the second one happened again, I was telling them please that they should switch over. They were like, no, that since there if any bacteria that are giving Mironem and is resisting, which this thing again, Mironem is the highest medication, blah 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 blah. I was not telling them that please they should change now. They should try check another medication. They said no, that we will have to go and do that, like that they want to know the exact bacteria that is affecting him. That they want to know the exact. So my husband now went and go and run this blood culture, and this blood culture takes 7 days before the results will be out. So that's all through that 7 days. They were still giving him that Mironem. It will right. We were just I don't used to sleep. I will be table sponging, and then they will now come and give him this. There's one injection to that used to calm convulsion, because once it rises to that 38, he's convulsing. So this I will be so fat. So while we were waiting for that this thing result, so at a point the temperature now went down to 37. My husband said, let's go home, let's go, because then he started eating, but at night it will rise up. So the only thing they used to do in the night is, once it rises up, they'll give him suppository, give him paracetamol. And that was when I announced. My husband said they should just discharge us, since they're not really doing anything again, since we are waiting for the lab result. So that was how they discharged us. We got home. So even at then we were coming morning and night for his injections. And then, thanks to the doctor was able to buy 2 bottles of Mirolem again for us, because he noticed that we don't have money again. So he helped us. He bought 2 extra bottles. Thanks to him. He's Dr. Asinobi, Triple Care Hospital. God bless that man for me. So while we're still waiting for the lab result, and then we were home, so I go morning and night for his medication. Then I remember there was a drug they asked us to buy the last time that he fell ill. They asked us to buy this particular drug. My husband got it for the tag, the price tag is still there, 4,900, this drug. And I noticed that immediately I gave him, it calmed down with that emin. So when I go home, so the first day we went for the first morning we went to take his medication. He